You asked for it, so you got it. Ellie, this episode of Ramblings with Rebecca is for you. I'm Rebecca Farnum, and today, archaeology in the Orkneys. This is going to be exciting. We are not going to cover all of the archaeology of the Orkneys because there's a lot there. But we'll talk a little bit about the islands, particularly the parts that I went to, some of the fun stuff that's there, why they are important, and with particular emphasis probably on the things that I saw. Sorry. But a few weeks ago, my family came to visit me in Scotland. Hi, Mummy and Bubba and Daddy! Grand fun. And we took a wee road trip along mostly northeast Scotland area. So we went and saw Loch Ness. Nessie did not make an appearance. Falkland, Pitlochry, Inverness, the Cairngorms National Park. Everything's gorgeous. Mountains, trees, just absolutely beautiful countryside. We also went all the way up. Not quite all the way up, but really, really far up. The Orkney Islands, not quite as far up as the Shetlands, and that's about as much as can be said for how far north they are not. But they're up there. It's like 300 miles from Edinburgh to Orkney. It's like 400 from Edinburgh to London. So not quite extra distance, but it's big chunks of time and big chunks of distance, to say the least. They're up there. The Orkneys are an archipelago of islands. Archipelago, fun vocabulary word for the day that means group. Group of islands. That word that looks like archipelago or however you want to say it. Anyway, archipelago of islands. The largest of the Orkneys is called the mainland. This is rather entertaining because it is still only the 6th biggest island in Scotland and the 10th biggest in Britain. Okay, it's not really that big. But don't tell the mainland that. The name Orkney comes from the 1st century BC, okay, like a really bloody long time ago. And the Orkneys themselves, we have evidence of inhabitants there from 8,500 years ago. 8,500 years. There's been human-y things on the Orkneys, and we have evidence of that in various ways through lots and lots of archaeological discovery that's happening on the group of islands. Lots of settlements, really interesting stuff, mostly via pottery and things of that nature, but all kinds of interesting things to be found, for sure. Several UNESCO World Heritage Site kind of things to be seen. We went and saw the Standing Stones of Stennis, Neolithic monument, that is the oldest henge site in the British Isles. A henge, is a ring of a bank and a ditch. Stonehenge, okay? So Stonehenge is the most well-known circle of standing stones. Not actually necessarily the most important archaeologically, or actually even the most impressive. I didn't say it. Just the most well-known. Anyway, but so henge is the term for that ring pattern of bank and ditch. And we often find a lot of interesting things in henges. In the Standing Stones of Stennis, there's a ditch, and in the hearth, cremated bones, including animal bones, charcoal, lots of pottery. The site was worked on from 3100 BC. The Giza pyramids opened in the 2500 BC time zone, okay? So these stones have been standing longer than the pyramids. It's pretty freaking cool. Close to, everything's close in the Orkneys because it's tiny, right? But nearby, the Standing Stones of Stennis is the Ring of Brodgar. Another group of the Standing Stones. Cool stuff. Not all of these henges have standing stones, so that's quite cool. And then between these things is the Ness of Brodgar, which is about a little over 6 acres. And in the Ness, they have found remnants of housing and stuff that was going on. Decorated stone slabs, a stone wall that is huge with foundation stuff around it, some kind of cathedral or palace of sorts, and evidence that this area has been occupied from 3500 BC. This Ness and, the standing stones around it, thought to be more important as far as archaeological terms than Stonehenge. So, it is not all going on down there. And of course, most importantly, I actually have ancestors from the Orkneys. I didn't know I have any Scots blood. I found out on this trip I totally do. I found some rosy gravestones. Apparently my family knew that I had Scots blood and just no one had told me, or I had missed the memo or something. Anyway, but my grandmother's paternal ancestors come from Scotland. So I visited the homeland of the Orkneys, and that is archaeology in a nutshell.